Hello, everyone. Like always, if you can hear me, let me know. Yeah, I know there's a bit of a delay in the chat, but I'm gonna assume you can hear me unless I hear otherwise. But yeah, well, thank you for joining, and this will be the 17,000 subscriber Q&A. Sorry about the last few not happening. I've just been really busy with the Ultimate Frisbee season in full swing, but I want to hold this. I know it's a little later than usual, but um, yeah, considering I just got back from Europe and uh, between that, I just want to get a chance to interact with you guys. So I see a few people in the chat. Titanic, what's frisbee? It's an amazing sport. Very simple play. You need a piece of plastic, you throw it around, and most people who play are really good sports. Let's see. I see McLovin, that guy Logan Pal, Zero G Coasters, New Jersey Walks, Logan, T Express, and Eric Thomason. Eric Thomason, how was Europe? Um, a really nice trip. Went to some new parks, went to some old parks, and it was. I really like the parks over there just because they can blend theming so much better than the U.S. parks. Titanic, can we play Jackbox? Not in this stream. I'm just a bit hesitant to do Jackbox just because I can't really control too much what happens there. Logan Powell, favorite rap. I don't really listen to rap, so I'll pass on that question. Hello, Philip Dozel. I'm actually surprised I'm caught up in the chat, but of course, it's only 3 minutes in. I know I'm going to fall behind like usual, and if that happens, please try to let me catch up so I can actually get to all your questions. If you take the time to watch and post something, I like to be able to answer it. Dynamic, there are automatic and manual censorship options. I'm not surprised there's some censorship options. Just when I play Jackbox, I know some of the queries can get a little wild, so that's why I'm a bit hesitant to do it. T Express, I'm convinced the Wilhelmsbed Carousel is not only the world's oldest, but the world's oldest still operating amusement ride, 1780 to present. That very well may be. I mean, that's older than an amusement park in the U.S. Super North Show, you like Shivering Timbers better than Mystic Timbers and Twisted Timbers. I like Shivering Timbers the best out of those, but I do put Twisted above Mystic. Aerodynamics, favorite coaster company. Unfortunately, it's not your namesake, but I'd probably go with Rocky Mountain Construction as of late. And Seeker, I'm going to Darien Lake, Seabreeze, and Waldemere. Are there any non-coaster attractions in the nearby area you recommend? Thoughts on those parks? So nearby attractions in that area. If you're up near Darien Lake, I mean, you have Niagara Falls nearby. The Canadian side's a lot better than the U.S. side, but those are pretty beautiful to see. As for those parks, Waldemere and Seabreeze have that really nice family park vibe to them. Darien Lake, one neat thing there not to miss is they have a Fascination parlor. Titanic, I have reviewed West Coast Racers already. It's one of my early reviews. For Apocalypse, I want to get more rides on. Usually, because I only ride once a visit when I'm at Magic Mountain, so I don't have the best. I guess, grasp on to do a full in-depth review. T Express, what element do you want to see most in RMC Wildcat? I'd love to see some sort of crazy inverting stall. Maybe a JoJo roll or something before the lift. Lowing Pal. When do you plan to go to Darien Lake? Okay, so that's related to that. That guy, any thoughts on CGA closing? So I don't think that park's going to last the full 11 years like the term says. I'm pretty sure Cedar Fair is going to start to pluck rides out when they can, and they want to get out there as soon as possible. It's unfortunate the park's closing, but I get the business sense why they're doing it. Titanic. I've ridden Apocalypse in the front and back, just I usually only get 1 or 2 rides a visit. Mark Lindsay. I prefer dogs. Super North Show. If the weather's good, my summer trip in 2 weeks will be Great Adventure, Kings Dominion, and Busch Gardens. Yeah, those are all fun parks. Logan Pal. Yeah, I much prefer Mystic Timbers over Beast. I don't put Beast ahead of Mystic, not even close. Scotty Mullen. I did hear there were some markings by Top Thrill Dragster. I don't know what's happening with that ride for sure. So you mentioned that Intamin's website mentions dragsters and LSM launch coaster. They got rid of the hydraulic launch a while ago, and all the accelerator coasters are just listed as the LSM launch. So like I think you'll see Formula Rosa and like stuff like Desert Race there, even though those rides still have the hydraulic launch and ri- don't show any signs of getting rid of them. McLovin, going to LaRonde on Saturday. Where do members go to process admission? I heard you just can't scan your membership at the gate. Um, so when I went to the park in 2016, that was back when they had just season passes. I was able to go straight to the gate with that one. The one issue I had with that park is you couldn't go straight to a food stand to get your meals. You had to go to guest relations to get a meal ticket. New Jersey Walks. Went to Dollywood last week, and the first day I was there in line for Lightning Rod. Went down before you rode it. Okay, at least I'm glad you got the next day. Yeah, that ride is very temperamental, but it's amazing when you get on it. And Seeker, I did see the Cedar Fair Prestige Pass announcement. One thing I've been wondering, because I saw you get a skip the line pass every visit, if it's only for your home park or if it's for any of the parks. Um, T Express, the Wilmsbed Carousel was not operating for it was SBNO for 86 years. That's impressive. They got that back up and running. Titanic, why am I so scared of riding West Coast racers? Maybe because you have to see Justin Bieber at one point in the ride, but the ride itself is a really nice fit for that park. It's a bit of a weird ride considering they had Full Throttle and Twisted Colossus, but it is a good like family style launch coaster, even if it does have a bit of a high height limit. Quacken's Coaster Channel. Who do you think will be the manufacturer of Dollywood's next coaster? I want like a family sized mock not extreme spinning, but like a family sized mock spinning coaster with like launched with like spinning cars. So basically like Manta, SeaWorld, San Diego with spinning cars. But the rumor I've heard is some sort of a coma like motorbike coaster. Oliver Kolb. I recently went to Cedar Point and rode Steel Vengeance 3 times. You got one night ride Maverick. Maverick's your favorite coaster there. Steel Vengeance is easily my favorite coaster there, but I also put Millennium Force ahead of Maverick. Puffo, Opinions and Ghost Rider. Assuming you mean the one at Knott's Farm, amazing wood coaster, great pacing, diverse layout. I just wish the capacity was better. That guy, I recently got on my first coaster at a fair. It was a completely untrimmed Galaxy. The laterals at the end were killer. Yeah, if those rides aren't braked, those can be pretty good. McLovin, Prestige Pass only has the added benefits of your home park. Okay, yeah, that's good to know. Not quite sure if I'd get the Prestige Pass just because I don't really have a Cedar Fair park really, really close by, and the closest one's Dorney, and there's so many other parks nearby that are better than Dorney. But it's good if you go to your local park a ton. Titanic comparison level. How would you compare Premiere in terms of intensity to other launches in Cali? To be perfectly honest, I've never found the launches of most Premiere coasters particularly strong. I like everything that follows in terms of the layout. Like, I honestly think Pony Express is a stronger launch than most Premiere coasters. Baker Guy. Um, I think Six Flags Great Adventure could use some sort of like launch coaster that's not as extreme as King Ka, so something like West Coast Racers would have been perfect for them. Hello, Legit Epic Boss Gaming. Um, Logan Powell, what's better, Bad Pigeon or 2 Million Pigeons? I don't know if I'm really not sure on that question. Back row coasters, opinion, RMC Wildcat. Well, it's gonna be better than the Wildcat I'm wearing on my shirt. Yes, Lake Compound's ripped off the Beast logo. Um, the thing with RMC Wildcat is they have enough land to get bigger if they want. I don't know if they will, but even if you have an average RMC, Hershey's lineup is going to be absolutely stacked. Quacken's Coaster Channel. Europe was great. Went to some new parks, went to some old parks, and I just love all the theming over there. Amazing elevators and claws. I hope Valley Fair had something new. They're really overdue for a coaster, and I heard their attendance was pretty high earlier this summer. Super North Show. Yeah, the Wild Mouse of Michigan's Adventure is great. Imperial Coaster. Not sure if Vekoma will reinvent their big air coaster. I think the Super Boomerang is probably their next like shuttle layout. Though shuttle layout there'll be a lot of. John Pelosi, favorite coaster in Pennsylvania, Phantom's Revenge. Love all that airtime with such a minimalistic restraint. Lazinated, most painful coaster you've been on, Coaster Express easily. Logan Powell, favorite launch sound. Um, some of those LSM launches with the humming, like Terrans, are pretty cool. Legit Epic Boss Gaming, opinion of Mr. Freeze. I have a whole review on it, but that's a very intense ride. Super North Show, GCI Titan Track did not save Wolverine Wildcat. Well, was the section with the Titan Track good? Because I know they only put it on the first drop, which is sort of weird because that was never one of the rough parts of the ride. New Jersey Walks. Yes, I liked Conda better than Ride to Happiness, and I rode them 2 hours apart. Scariest Fanboy. The last time I rode Ravine Flyer 2 was 2020. Always a great ride. Imperial Coaster. I'm excited for Worlds of Fun getting the Titan Track coaster. I hope it gives them like a fast-paced ride with a lot of ejector airtime. But they could do anything with that layout, so I'm excited to see what comes out. Mark Lindsay, any rides still scare you? Those SCAD towers genuinely scare me. Dynamic, not a big fan of cuss words myself. Hunter Gamer 2008. You watched my Knobles videos, you were there on that day. Yeah, those Knobles videos are filmed over a period of a few years, so it's a coincidence you're there one of the days. Sustained floater coasters. So I went to a lot of the parks in Europe and Denmark, northern Germany, and Belgium and the Netherlands. I plan to make countdowns for all the parks I went to. Quacken's Coaster Channel. Will RMC Wildcat beat Skyrush for the best coaster at Hershey? If it's a top tier RMC, yes. If it's an average RMC, no. I have not. Someone that loves coasters. I have not been to Mega Park in Quebec City. Dynamic. How would you compare West Coast racers in terms of intensity to other launch coasters in Cali? Weaker launch, but the elements have punch to them. Like that sideways airtime hill at the start is really good. And Seeker. I think Phantom's Revenge's Restraints are unique just because it was retrofit from an old Aero train. Legit Epic Boss Gaming. Yeah, I'm glad Titan reopened. It's not my favorite hyper, but still adds something to that park. Oliver Cobb, favorite launch coaster is Lightning Rod. Thunderwolf. I do have to think something's happened with Top Thrill Dragster with all those markings. Probably a different queue line at this rate. Dynamic, you find airtime overrated? To each their own. I love airtime. Baker Guy, best corkscrew you've ridden? Do you mean element or like arrow corkscrew? If you mean arrow corkscrew, I was nostalgic for the one at Canobie, but not a big fan of any of those ones, to be perfectly honest. Lazenade, Velocicoaster's not overrated. That ride's amazing. Dynamic, do you think Dorney Park could become a mid-tier park sometime in the near future? I think it already is pretty much. They have a good coaster lineup, good flats, good atmosphere. Just they're surrounded by better parks. Skyrush Fanboy. I like some of Kings Island's coasters up front. Like Banshee's better up there. Orion's better up there. Yeah, but I prefer some of the other ones in back. So I'd say 50-50. Mark Lindsay, favorite defunct coaster? Probably Dueling Dragons. Since Scandia Screamer's coming back. Matthew Turner, thoughts on the future of Top Thrill Dragster? I think it's going to reopen. My guess is they're going to reconfigure the queue line in some way. Esko Lebedev, how old are you? I'm 29. The Quackens Coaster Channel. Sounds like Haunted Mind Drop will be down for the foreseeable future. Will you still go to Colorado despite that? Well, another thing about Colorado is that the Cyclones close indefinitely. I think because of that lawsuit that happened earlier this year. I'm guessing Haunted Mind Drop will reopen next year after they can fix the vehicle and enclose it. But, I want to make sure Cyclone's obviously open if I went out there too. Scotty Mullen, the most shocking moment in any dark ride I've been on was probably there was one on the German fair circuit called Spuck, where there was a live actor who had this like foam axe and he actually swung at my throat with it, and I was just shocked a scare actor would do that. Matthew Cornell, I did ride Puritan. It was better than Kawasami because A, it was cycling full trains all day, and B, I think it has a faster lift hill, but yeah, it was definitely better than Kawasami. Hambone plays of Wild Water Wheels and Myrtled Waves. I prefer Wild Water and Wheels just because of how I know this is a stupid reason, but the pavement didn't hurt to walk on. Um, it also had a solid slide lineup. Myrtle Waves, I like turbo twisters, but there were some slides closed when I went. Imperial Coaster, I like sustained airtime best, whether it be floater or ejector. Skyrush Fanboy, normal for everything in Kentucky Kingdom to be a walk on all day. Storm Chaser is usually a walk on. Lightning Run usually can get a line just because at the front it tends to run one train. Matthew Turner, next big addition to Great Adventure in New England. Six Flags New England really needs a launch coaster. Great Adventure, not quite sure what they'll add, but I hope they get something. In maybe 3 or 4 years. Logan Powell, I meant Cyclone at Lakeside. Imperial Coaster, not sure if Six Flags will work at Gerstlauer again. I think they have enough manufacturers at their disposal; they don't have to. Dynamic, I do not like Peaches. Thunderwolf, I'm excited to see what the Surf Coaster is. Because I actually like most of the stand-up coasters. Skyrush Fanboy, most unexpected moment of airtime you got. Probably on the Wacky Worm at Negloland. Usually when you ride a Wacky Worm, the trim hits on that drop, and then you're braked through the station. Neither of those hit in my ride, so when we went through the station, there was a sudden, the sudden little dip out of the station actually gave a pop of airtime, especially because my lap bar didn't work. Quacken's Coaster Channel, difference between Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios and Disneyland. I find Disneyland's tends to have more of the effects working, whereas Florida's tends to be in B mode and have some things deactivated more often. Outside of that, the ride is very similar. Baker Guy, favorite Disney coaster. I haven't been on Guardians yet, but I like Hyperspace Mountain at Disneyland Paris. Very intense. Matthew Cornell, I'll have a Puritan review soon, but Balder's going to be waiting. I want to get back on that ride first. Imperial Coaster, most intense Wild Mouse you've ridden. Probably the most recent one of the more recent ones I've been on, Wild Mouse XXL. I couldn't believe that thing ran untrimmed. That ride was intense. Hambone Plays. Have you done a review on Broadway Grand Prix? I have not because I haven't been there. Arlo Production. Probably my biggest bucket list credit right now is DC Rivals. I want more backwards ejector airtime. Kings Island. You hope they get Super North Show. You hope Kings Island gets a gravity group. Yeah, I mean, I'd encourage more wood coasters, especially But I think that park is pretty good at wood coasters right now. I'd like to see. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what they need because they have such a diverse lineup, but I feel like their next ride is gonna be another steel coaster. Balls HD, Universal Orlando or Disney Orlando. I take Islands of Adventure over any of the parks at Disney, but I take all the other Disney parks over Universal Studios. Thunderwolf, most underrated Wild Mouse. Probably the one I just mentioned, Wild Mouse XXL. Hello, Glass Boys. Esko Lebedev, how long have you been a roller coaster enthusiast? I can't remember a time I wasn't an enthusiast. Like, I remember doing a Storyland puzzle when I was like 2 years old, and I knew what Polar Coaster was, but I was too short to ride it at that point. Oliver Cobb, favorite park outside the US? Tokyo Disneyland. Imperial Coaster, do you think Satori Rides, the manufacturer behind the inverted Cobra coaster at Tivoli Freehaddon, will go under heavy fire for the accident? Considering it's the second time it derailed, I wouldn't be surprised. Seeker, you would like to see Kings Island get a big family coaster. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. That part, like I said, that park is a pretty diverse lineup and well-rounded as is, so anything would be nice for them. Logan Powell, did you go on studio tour at Movie Park? Yes, I did. It was a pretty solid dark ride. I just wish you went through some of the scenes a little slower. Quacken's Coaster Channel. What would you like to see King's Dominion replace Volcano with? I'd love to see them put a Mach Extreme spinning coaster. The fact Cedar Fair is working with Mach makes me encouraged maybe that'll happen because that would be the big splash they need. Balls HD. What should Canada's Wonderland's next coaster be? They could use a launch coaster. That'd be another one I'd love to see an extreme spinner, but just any sort of launch coaster would be good for them. Thunderwolf, worst time you've ever grayed out. Vertigo at Tivoli Gardens comes to mind because that ride was very intense. I couldn't believe how long they sustained those G's for. Sky Guy R12 turn. Yep, you're not that late. Should be going still for another 40 minutes. Civilian Satellite, welcome home. How hot did it get on your trip? Ironically, it's hotter here in Boston today. It hit 100 degrees. On my trip, the hottest day was, I think there was a day in the Netherlands where it was like 90 degrees, but usually it was in like the 70s, so it was pretty nice. Lucky. Thoughts about Six Flags' fallout with Gerstlauer and Cedar Fair's fallout with Intamin. Considering those two companies have plenty of other manufacturers they can go to, yeah, I think they're going to stick with those ones and not go back to the ones I've had trouble with. That guy, maybe I'd review Wonder Woman. I mean, I did Jersey Devil, which is very similar, so that's my one reservation for reviewing that one, just because I don't want to be too repetitive. Thusyville, most nervous you've been before a ride. Probably the SCAD tower, just because there's no cables, no bungees, and if you flail during the ride, you can get hurt. Hello, Jake Flynn. Hello, Gaming Boy. Skygar 12 turn. Do you think Magic Mountain will have a better coaster collection if Cedar Point removes Dragster? I think the interesting thing with that is Hershey Park might pass those if they get RMC Wildcat. Imperial Coaster. Do you think Cedar Fair will relocate the massive carousel from CGA? Maybe. I mean, I'd like to see that ride preserved. Laxi Rima, you love the coaster reviews in your home park, Six Flags New England. Yep, that's one of my home parks too. Hambone Plays, of the speed slides at Myrtle Beach, I like Turbo Twister best. That ride's very forceful. Balls HD, next coaster at Magic Mountain. Not quite sure what they need next, because especially with them getting Wonder Woman, they're pretty stacked. Skygar 12 turn. Any idea why you're so incredibly consistent on YouTube? Just because I have a system to make videos, I can do it pretty quickly and leverage things I've done previously. Gaming Boy, give me a ride. You'll go on it, so please give me a ride. Okay, I'll give you a challenge. The Kiddie Coaster at Rye Playland. Charlanator, do you think Energylandia will build a Giga? I don't know if they have a height limit or not, but they definitely have the ambition to. Imperial Coaster, do you think Lost Island theme park is failing due to their low attendance numbers? So I've heard their water park has been getting good crowds. I just think they need better advertising and some sort of shuttle between the two parks. Esco Lebedev, I think the T-Rex will happen just down the road. Baker Guy, favorite boardwalk park and coaster. So this is cheating for the boardwalk park, but I'll technically say Cedar Point because there is a boardwalk there. Skygar 12 turn, what coaster gave you the biggest need to scream? I don't usually scream too much at coasters, so not quite sure. Super North Show, not sure if companies give discounts on Coaster Day. They might. Thusyville, yeah, I can see Canobie's getting a new coaster within the next decade. Not quite sure what to go with, though. Jake Flynn, I do not think Cedar Point, well, if Cedar Point gets a coaster in 2023, I don't think it'll be a big one. But they might get something smaller. Skygar 12 turn. Technically, Edaville's my closest home park. Madison Hunati, heading to Del Grosso and Lakemont tomorrow. Any tips? At Del Grosso, the mat slide, Twin Twisters, is amazing. You can get some scary airtime on that water slide. For Lakemont, I know Leap to Dips can sometimes have some issues that can close it. So if you see it running, go on immediately. Thunderwolf, friends with any other coaster YouTubers? I've met El Toro Ryan at parks. He's really nice. Met Airtime Thrills. He's nice as well. I've had very pleasant interactions with people at parks when I meet them. Imperial Coaster, not sure if the B&M Surf Coaster trains could go on the old stand-ups or not. Scotty Mullen, I prefer to stay up late over getting up early. Quacken's Coaster Channel. Wacky Worms can give airtime if the trim's not hitting. Matthew Turner, does Iron Gwazi and Velocicoaster give Florida enough to compete with Ohio as far as thrills? It might, just because how Florida has so many more parks than Ohio. Skygar 12 Turn, most extreme coaster you've ever ridden. X2 and Edge of Night could come to mind. Those rides are nuts. Esko Lebedev, I think Dragster will reopen. Hambone plays. Yeah, those breaks in the Myrtle Waves tube slides are definitely annoying. One of the reasons I'm not a big fan of those slides. Matthew Cornell, dream coasters that I haven't been on yet. Hakuge, DC Rivals, Coaster on the Clouds, Flash, Wood Coaster. Yeah, those are all ones I want to get on. Plus T Express. Good usernames are overrated. Most underrated, most overrated park you've been to. Most underrated, definitely Warner Brothers World Abu Dhabi. I heard nothing about that park and barely hear anything about that park, but it has Disney and Universal level theming. Most overrated park. Not sure on that on the top of my head. I think I made a video on that. I'm bad at sometimes remembering the tops off the top of my head. Skygar 12 Turn. Yeah, it was nice working with Theme Park Crazy. I like his videos, and it was nice to be able to work together on one where I've ridden some of the rides. Twisted Whiskers. What kind of coaster should Dorney get? An RMC Raptor would be perfect for them in terms of, the forces it offers, and they could handle that capacity. Imperial Coaster. I'd like to see Elitch Gardens relocate again, but I haven't been following the situation too closely. Laxi Rima, least favorite park you visited. I want to say Ocean Beach Park, especially after my most recent visit last week. Quacken's Coaster Channel. Is the Six Flags Ultimate Pass worth $400? My membership that had a lot more benefits cost less than that, so I'd be hesitant to pay that much. I'd probably go with the lowest tier that gets you into all the parks. Gaming Boy, you want King Ka, Hulk, Great Nor'easter, nothing's too scary for you. Yeah, if you want something scary, like I said, look up those Scab Towers. DPT 108, going to Dollywood for the first time next week. Pumped to ride Lightning Rod. Anything else you should look forward to? So I hate sweets, but everyone loves the cinnamon bread, so definitely get that if you like sweets. Thunderwolf, current top 3. Lightning Rod, Steel Vengeance, and then it's probably like Voyage, Iron Gwazi, or Untamed. Ditamic, would you rather be able to eat anything safely without dying or have everything taste 10 times better? I'd like to not die. Skygar 12 Turn. I have ridden Green Lantern First Flight. While it wasn't the worst coaster in the world, it had the potential to cause a lot of discomfort if you got stuck upside down. Good usernames overrated. I've had good luck going to Cedar Point towards the end of August. Crowds are usually lighter than peak summer. Imperial Coaster, top 3 from Europe. The ones that come to mind for me are Untamed, Conda, and Ride to Happiness or Zadra. Charlinator, top bucket list coaster, currently DC Rivals. Logan Powell, yeah, Airtime Thrills and I ran into each other at Valley Fair. Laxi Rima, thoughts on Six Flags raising season pass prices? So I get why they did that because, they were basically giving away season passes, but now people are resistant to pay the higher prices because they're used to the lower ones, and the Six Flags parks have been deserted this year. Sustained floater coasters, tips for Canobles. They have a lot of good food there. The rides are amazing. Pretty much everything runs great programs. Get a ton of rides in Phoenix. Gaming Boy, going to Busch Gardens. Which one? That guy, worst trim. The one on Raging Bull is pretty egregious. There are probably some other ones too. Imperial Coaster. When do you plan to ride Doctor Diabolical? Probably not this year. The next time I go to Texas, I want to be able to do Schlitterbahn too. Scotty Mullen. If I could bring a defunct coaster back, I'd like to bring back Eagle Fortress just because it was a crazy terrain-based suspended coaster. Good usernames are overrated. I think RMC Wildcat will at worst be mid and hopefully high tier RMC, but it just depends how big they go. Maz and Hunnity. I did not go to Geauga Lake. Hambone Place. Opinion on Carolina Harbor Carowinds. They have that trapdoor slide tower that a lot of the Cedar Fair parks have, but overall the water park isn't the strongest, compared to some others. Baker Guy. Busiest experience you've had at a park and the longest you've waited for a non-coaster. I've had to wait nearly 90 minutes for Splash Mountain before. Don't regret it because I love that ride though. Skygar 12 Turn. Yeah, I just don't like sweets. They don't taste good to me. Super North Quacken's Coaster Channel is Ride to Happiness in your top 10. So that ride did fall after my most recent rides. It was still excellent, but I think the fact I knew it was coming made it not quite as crazy as the year before. I think it's borderline top 10 for me now, but it's still an amazing ride. Maki, I have not been on Guardians yet. Hope to soon. Sorry, I realize I'm behind on the chat trying to get caught back up. End Seeker, go-to treats. I like grapes a ton. Grapes and pretzels are usually my snacks. Dynamic, if you lived in the 1980s, what would be your coaster top 10? Of some of the old ones like Rushabane at Tivoli Gardens is up there. Cyclone at Coney Island's up there. There are some good wood coasters that would still make the list. Phoenix, things like that. Imperial Coaster, do you think Codaland could reach at least 5 coasters by 2026? Aren't they already at like 4 now? So if they add even one more kiddie coaster, that'd make it. Matthew Cornell, what ride has a better chance of throwing you into the stratosphere? Wild Train or Coaster Peony Playland? I'll say Wild Train because if you had the same restraint as Coaster Peony Playland, I'm pretty sure you'd be launched out of the train. Marching Band, Take Me by the Hand. How to ride SLCs defensively. The best tip I can give is try to fix your head to one side of the restraint. Good usernames are overrated. I think Fastlane Plus at Cedar Point is worth it, especially if you don't go to that park too often. Thunderwolf. I have seen a fight break out of the park. It was in the Lightning Racer station at Hershey Park a while ago. Kyle Ledford. I prefer Iron Gwazi over Zadra. Good usernames overrated. I don't know how many countries I've been to. I've been to a lot in Europe. The UAE, Japan, and several in North America. Esco Lebedev. I haven't been to China, so I can't review those rides. Skygar 12 Turn. I used to post on some coaster message boards and, want to try a new way to interact with YouTube, and I've liked it so far. Twisted Whiskers. Dorney is good at running things in bad weather. They just close things in lightning, which is completely understandable. Charlinator. Most forceless major coaster you've ever ridden. Wild Thing at Valley Fair comes to mind. That one's pretty mild considering its size. Gaming Boy. Best worst ride you've been on. Favorite Lightning Rod Dollywood. Worst Coaster Express. Laxi Rima. You're going to head to Six Flags Great Adventure. What ride should be your number one priority? I think El Toro is the best ride in that park. But I try to ride King Dakar early in the day just because that's the ride most prone to breaking down. Logan Powell, best meal at Cedar Point. I love the melt. Amazing sandwiches. Good usernames are overrated. Do you think old school B&Ms will start to be removed? I think the popular ones could get retracked like Nemesis and Hulk, but it'll be interesting to see how long those rides last. Hambone Plays, favorite slide at Wild Water and Wheels. I like that mat racer they had. I think it was called what was it? Double Drop or something. Luco Mick 326. Yeah, I've seen Splash Mountain at 2 hours before. Skygar 12 turn. I haven't ridden every coaster. Cedar Point, even the operating ones. I haven't been on the Wilderness Run yet. Thunderwolf. I've made a video on the longest lines I've waited in. I forget which Hagrid's I waited 3 hours for, only for it to break down. I had to leave the line. Titanic. With Lightning Rod, I sort of wish the top of the launch had a a nice CRG roll at the top. That would have really given the ride some nice variety. Skygar 12 turn. I'm pretty sure my first park was Canobie. If not, it would have been Santa's Village or Storyland. Airbus 737. Lightning Rod seems to be more reliable at the iBox track, but it's still prone to downtime. Glass Boys. I'm a pretty bland eater, so I don't like too many sauces, so food from countries like Thailand to Vietnam could be a little tricky for me. Cedar Point Boys. My favorite coaster is Lightning Rod. Good usernames overrated. Do you think Six Flags will start looking at new gen Vacomas? I wouldn't be surprised because those rides seem very easy to clone. Gaming Boy, best drop towers. I love the Tower of Terror and Guardians, that ride system at the Disney parks. CRG coasters. I have seen the Cedar Fair Prestige passes. I think they're good if you go to your home park a ton. Good usernames overrated. Coaster you've ridden with the strongest airtime in terms of pure negative G's. Sky Rush is one that comes to mind. The airtime on that ride's powerful. Quacken's Coaster Channel. Most painful rain ride you've ever had. Trying to think some of the crazy rain rides I've had. So recently I've just started wearing because I wear glasses, so that protects my eyes pretty good. And then recently I've started wearing a mask if it's raining really hard, because that also protects your face, so it makes the ride not painful at all. Yeah. I rode Fury in the rain, and that one was a little jarring up front, but it was still worth it. Madison Hunnity, how do you rank the coasters at Dorney? I have a whole list on that, but I put Steel Force at the top. Titanic, do you think RMC Wildcat should have a more positive inversion focus? I think I don't think it matters too much because, even the average RMC will add something different to that park. Mark Lindsay, would you rather have your home park at a mid-tier B&M Hyper or Busch Gardens Pretzels? I'd say a mid-tier B&M Hyper, especially because I know some good local pretzel places. Skyguards will turn. No, I would not marry Lightning Rod. Arlo Production, do you think Six Flags Great America is underrated or overrated? I think it's fairly rated. Thunderwolf, my first coaster was Rudy's Rapid Transit at Santa's Village. Gaming Boy, you got stuck on the top of King Kong? It did perfectly get stuck at the top? Twisted Whiskers, I'd like to ride Falcon's Flight if it opens. Titanic, not very good at impressions. Good usernames overrated. I touched on the longest wait time. Imperial Coaster, do you think Dr. Diabolical could be a mid to top tier dive? I'd probably say it's more a mid tier just because I like the larger drops out there, but I'm excited to see how that bunny hill in the second half turns out. Laxi Rima, I'll go with sustained airtime. It's my favorite sensation. Sustained floater coasters. Being able to do everything at Cedar Point without fast lane is possible. It's just getting the re-rides can be tricky. CRG coaster. You waited 5 hours for Pantheon. Wow, I didn't realize that line was ever that long. Logan Powell, what are your thoughts on the retheme of Rock and Roller Coaster at Disneyland Paris? I wish there was a little more to see on the inside, but it's I wish there was a little more to see on the inside. I guess that's the biggest thing, but the pre-show looks cool. Good usernames overrated. Yeah, I've ridden the Great Adventure coasters in some crazy weather. Scotty Mullen, with line jumpers, I usually don't confront them just because of how, I know some of them can get a little aggressive. If anything, I just won't move when they try to come by. Skyguards will turn. Yeah, I had to wait a while for Hagrid too. Coaster Tory, do you think Lost Island in Iowa could be a destination park eventually? I don't think it'll be a destination park per se, but it'll definitely be a good park. Sky Guy 12 Turn, favorite Disney TV show. Um, I liked some of I liked Hawkeye on Disney Plus. That was really good. Charlinator. I'd like to see Skyrush get new restraints. I mean, I don't hate the current restraints, but those new intimate trains and those lap bars are amazing. Thunderwolf. Seen any good movies lately? I watched Shawshank Redemption on a plane. That was a great movie. Sam Miller. Yeah, I've ridden Voyage and Orion and Rain before. M Seeker. I haven't thought about moving to states purely based off the coasters, just because my family's up in this area, and I have a good airport in Logan where I can get around. Millennium Forceful. I think Dragster's going to reopen with a new queue line. Thrills Have a Beard. Any park greatly exceed your expectations on our first visit? Warner Brothers Abu Dhabi. Again, I knew nothing about that park going in. And it was amazing. Good usernames overrated. I'll take the Batman clones over Great Nor'easter. Thunderwolf. Music, I usually listen to like ride theme songs. Millennium Forceful, favorite night ride, Lightning Rod. Matthew Cornell, how long of a drive is Boston for Six Flags New England? Depends on traffic, but I think you can do it in an hour and a half to 2 hours. Sky Girl 12 Turn. I like puppies because they're cute and they're very playful. Goki, doing well. Dynamic. I guess I'll take $10,000 every time I ride my least favorite coaster, just because if it causes pain, at least I can pay for my medical bills. Quacken's Coaster Channel. I don't think I'll get to Silver Dollar City this year. I think I'm going to wait till next year. So A, I can actually do Mystic River Falls. B, if Worlds of Fun opens that new coaster. Twisted Whiskers. Six Flags' new CEO seems to have a different mindset where they're going to focus on quality over quantity. So I don't think we're going to see new rides at every park every year. Matthew Cornell, how's Wicked Cyclone running this year? It's running how it has the past few years, in my opinion. Good ride. Not a top tier RMC, but a good one. Goodbye, Gaming Boy. Good usernames overrated. Favorite non-coaster YouTuber, if you have any. I'm a big sports fan, so I watch some of the podcasts for like the local sports stations and such. Thunderwolf, favorite lighting package for a ride. I think some of those KCL lighting packages, like a Monster, are amazing. Skyguard 12 Turn, least favorite B&M invert. Banshee, if it's running rough. But typically, probably Patriot Worlds of Fun. Relda, yeah, Conda's an amazing ride. Imperial Coaster, it's a small world malfunction and people are stuck on it listening to the music. Yeah, that would be a little annoying because that song, gets stuck in your head anyway. And at that point, yeah, it would never leave your head. Yeah, at me 33. I think Dollywood's going to get some sort of like family launch coaster. My guess is Vekoma motorbike coaster, but my dream would be for like a mock spinning coaster. Smeagol Beagle, would it be difficult to find info to make a most ridden rides video for a specific park based only on queue numbers? So basically, like, are you looking at the throughputs of rides? Because queue times might have the data you need if you know the rides well, yeah, it might be a little tricky to get. Coaster Tory, if you could extend any coaster's layout, which would it be? I'll say Lightning Rod just because it has so much speed at the end, so it could easily do a bunch of other elements without losing the pace, and it's my favorite ride anyway. Millennium Forceful. I think Millennium Force's first overbank is very forceful. Good usernames overrated. Day trip to Six Flags New England from Philadelphia, is that a good idea? Yeah, I think it's drivable. The top two at Six Flags New England never lets you down. Ross Waldman, going to Canobie for the first time next Friday. Um, you enjoy the park. Very nice atmosphere. Lines can get busy. So Untamed is a single rider line. If you're staying all day, the Log Flume and Haunted House have much shorter waits at the end of the day. Um, Mass and Honeybee. I think Voyage's restraints are fine. Titanic, do you think Worlds of Fun will get the first dueling inverting GCI? No. Um, Coaster Zoom. I do have a Discord server. I just don't post in Discord too much myself. Scotty Mullen, favorite things to do in downtown Boston? Watch a Red Sox game and go to Pizzeria Regina. Light coasters going to Six Flags over Georgia. Do you need to worry about crowds? So all the Six Flags parks have been really quiet this year, so I don't know if that's going to carry over into next year as well. Good usernames overrated. Will Six Flags start to rival Cedar Fair in terms of quality in the future? I think Cedar Fair's operations are better as a whole, so I think Six Flags really needs to get better in that department. Audie Rogers. I have not ridden the new Wonder Woman coaster at Magic Mountain, but I've ridden the near clone in Jersey Devil. Imperial Coaster. I did see the old train at Frontier City. Danny Marino. If you had to pick one manufacturer to demolish all their coasters of Intamin, B&M, and RMC, who would you pick? That's a tough one. I might say RMC just because they don't have as many as some others, but I do really like their rides. I'd probably go with B&M. It's unfortunate, but it's nothing against them. Skygar 12 Turn. Shivering Timbers may be the best coaster for floater. Sorry, lost in the comments. Smeagol Beagle. Yeah, not sure how you can get that throughput data because I think parks are a little guarded against that. Good usernames overrated. What coaster is too long for its own good? There are some jet coasters in Japan that just keep going on and on. Thunderwolf Park with the best operations. Disney's hard to argue with just because they can pump people through left and right, filling every available seat. Goki day trip from St. Louis to Kings Island. Is that like a 6 or 7 hour drive? I haven't done that day trip, so I'm not quite sure. Matthew Cornell, if you have a sleepover at any park, which would it be? Not quite sure on that one. Maybe I'd say Disneyland, just because I love that park so much. Mass and Heidi, I keep an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of everything. Quacken's Coaster Channel. I don't think the Red Sox will make the playoffs this year. They either like to finish in first place or last place, and I don't think they're finishing in first place this year. Coaster Tory. Honestly, of the coasters I've ridden, like X2 and Edge of Nike are the ones that still sort of scare me because of that drop. Scariest fanboy. I know wheel seats and wood coaster are 3 rows in a car, but where are wheel seats in 2-row cars? The back of the car. So think of it this way: the wheels are towards the back of the train, your butt's over the wheel. That's what you want to avoid. Skygar 12 Turn. So I care more about the quality of parks and coasters. Like I'll get every kiddie coaster credit if I'm allowed to, if it doesn't interfere with my ability to ride the big stuff there. But I'll skip a kiddie coaster if it means I get extra rides on a big coaster. Millennium Forceful. I think the Bengals could get back to the Super Bowl. I mean, Joe Burrow is young enough. Scotty Mullen. I don't know who the face of the Red Sox will be in 8 years, just because the new owners seem hesitant to resigning, not resigning, just shelling out big bucks. Matthew Cornell. I don't really root for either Harvard or MIT. Good usernames over a best and worst park you've been to. Favorite park, Disneyland. Worst park, Ocean Beach Park. Goki. Day trip from St. Louis to World of Fun is definitely doable. I've done that one. That guy, best looking coaster vehicle, Slinky Dog Dash. Danny Marino. Tips to get over fear of coasters. Work your way up. That's the best I can come up with. But if you've done Outlaw Run, that's a pretty aggressive ride. Even rides bigger than that aren't as intense usually. Thunderwolf, if you had to ride a roller coaster for 24 hours straight, which coaster would it be? It can't be a kiddie coaster, and you do get breaks for the bathroom and eating. I'll say Lightning Rod because it's my favorite coaster, and I don't get tired of that ride. And if it's 24 hours, I definitely get night rides. Hello Coaster Team 2012. Good usernames overrated. I'm a Patriots fan. Goki, favorite major coaster channel. I like anytime channels do like reviews and such and countdowns. Matthew Cornell. Yeah, I hope I get in Dino Conda one day, but I don't know when I'll get to China at this point. DNA LOL. I don't think I'll be at Lost Island this year. I was potentially going to go in June, but their delayed open, Madogani not being open, pushed that trip out. Ex Coaster Enthusiast. In Europe, I went to the Danish parks, the Northern Germany parks, the Belgian parks, and the Netherlands parks. Mark Lindsay, what IP needs a theme park based on it? So I know they had a small one in Japan, but I want a full park about Pokemon. Quacken's Coaster Channel. I think Mac Jones is legit. I just think we need to surround him with some better talent on offense. Skygar 12 turn. Ocean Beach Park. There is one in the United Kingdom, but this is the one in Connecticut. Sustained floater coasters, Excalibur over Great White. Scotty Mullen, cringiest thing you've ever heard in the line at a park. What I've heard I cannot repeat online. Skygar 12 turn. I don't like to make countdowns on things I hate, so I'm a bit hesitant to make the worst parks I've been to. Good usernames overrated. For a most fun coaster, Hagrid's is one that comes to mind just because that ride doesn't have too many like standout elements per se, but it's just the whole package is a ton of fun. Marching Band Take Me by the Hand. I have been to Lagoon and I love that park. Cannibal is a great drop. Skygar 12 turn, top 3 worst and best coaster restraints. I love the new Intamin trains. I love buzz bars just because how much room you get on them. For worst coaster restraints, the Intamin T-bar and Roughwood coasters, see Coaster Express, that was nightmarish. And then Vacoma SLCs with those bulky over-the-shoulder restraints are awful. Logan Powell, I don't call the Mini Mine Train the Mr. Beast coaster, but I know why people say that. Oops, sorry. Goki, what coaster you had high expectations for that severely disappointed you? Trying to think of one off the top of my head. Yeah, I think I made a whole video on that, but I'd probably say like now I hear it's running better now, but Mamba at Worlds of Fun just because I always loved Steel Force and Mamba was really lackluster. Um, Jake the Snake, best intimate accelerator in Europe. I'd probably go with Red Force. I actually like the ride better than Dragster. Millennium Forceful. Tips for growing, I'd just say make videos you like because if you don't like making the videos, it's not worth putting the time in. That guy, if you could visit any park in Roller Coaster Tycoon, which would you visit? I always liked Crazy Castle. That was always one of my favorite scenarios. Good usernames overrated. If you bring any park back from the dead, what would it be? Probably one of the ones in like New England I didn't get to, like Lincoln Park or Rocky Point Park or Whalen Park. Dame Reno, coaster hot take. Beast isn't the best night ride at Kings Island. Landing Camphor, I think Dragster will reopen next year, but we'll see what happens. Gogi, favorite B&M Hyper Drop. So excluding the Gigas, the one in Shambhala, because it sort of feels similar to a Hyper. Sorry, similar to a Giga. Matthew Cornell, I haven't played a Pokemon game in years. Skyguard 12 turn, favorite B&M at Cedar Point. Probably Gatekeeper. Ex-Coaster Enthusiast, thoughts on theme park craziest things not to do at a theme park video. All those points he made are valid. Thunderwolf, what do you think about Cedar Point lowering their minimum wage? Has it impacted the number of people have been able to get? I haven't heard about them having issues with like ride closures and stuff. Quacken's Coaster Channel. Customer service definitely can impact how you feel at a park because not only does it impact how quickly you get on rides, but it also impacts like the overall atmosphere. Coaster Team 2012. I don't think Six Flags will release like a video on all their new rides like they did in the past. Coaster Tory. Yeah, I would like to see more horror themed coasters. Sky Guards will turn. Oh yeah, Coast Riders Shin Guards. Those are awful too. Like I said, I'm sometimes bad at just calling off things off the top of my head, but yeah, that one should have been named. Scotty Mullen, best park for someone who likes enjoying a nice cocktail in the sun. You should check out Park Asterisk. How they have that aerial bar that lifts you in the air. I think like 150 feet that overlooks the coasters. Good usernames overrated. Favorite coaster game. I really like Planet Coaster, but I think Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is the best pick up and play one. Jake the Snake, which park in America do you think should get an intimate mega coaster? I'd love to see Universal Hollywood get it because they really could use a big thrill coaster to round out their lineup. Thunderwolf, if you're at a rollback on a launch coaster, I've had a failed launch in Copperhead Strike. Skate Alex 2, favorite dark ride, Rise of the Resistance. Landing Camper, favorite roughest coaster. Lost Coaster is one that comes to mind. That ride's stupidly rough, but that makes the experience. My favorite Pokemon is Charmander. Skyguard Golf Turn. It was nice collaborating with Theme Park Crazy. He's a nice guy, and I like his videos. Endseeker. If I could cast a spell on a coaster to keep it around for eternity, I'd say Lightning Rod because I think that ride really could use it. Good usernames are Ray. Not sure what Great Adventure will get next, but they have a diverse lineup already. Yeah, Me 33. I hope Lost Island's successful, but they need to improve their advertising. Quacken's Coaster Channel. I prefer Christmas over Halloween. Danny Marino. I think the B&M rattles can be like, a minor rattle's annoying, but it's not a big problem. If it's a really bad rattle, it can ruin the ride. Goki, thank you for the super chat. You really like the content. Keep doing streams. Been watching since 1K subs, and I've always enjoyed your content. Yeah, thank you very much. You know, I like making the videos. I like interacting with people, and I'm glad I can do this to share my opinions. Crud. Sorry, I lost where I was after that one. Theme Park Tycoon Teacher, thoughts on Candymonium? You're going there in 2 weeks. It's one of the best B&M hypers, very well paced and some good elements. Thunderwolf, favorite observation tower. The one at Hansa Park's awesome because you can overlook the park and the Baltic Sea. Skate Alex, favorite old school theme park. I like Canobie, a nice traditional feel. Tivoli Gardens is a nice one too. There's a lot of old school parks in Europe I like. Taffy, my home park technically is Edaville. Practically, it's Six Flags New England. Jake the Snake, worst launch coaster. Not the ride itself, worst launches. Some of those mock coasters come to mind because they do not have very strong launches. Landing Camper, favorite SNS coaster. Max Force comes to mind, but I might be forgetting one off the top of my head. Skate Alex 2, I haven't seen much Carpetbagger, but I think I've seen one video. Skyguard 12 Turn, thoughts on Bay Beach. Zip and Pippin's awesome, very affordable park. I just wish they had a little more rides to go with that. Airbus 737. Carowinds does drop off after the top 4, but that top 4 is amazing. Zero G Coasters, you had a failed launch at Pantheon. Yeah, I've heard that it can happen quite a bit. Goki, least favorite B&M hyper. I'm going to go with Hollywood Dream. Now, the one caveat I have to give is I got stuck with the middle row each time, so I suspect it's a lot better in the back, but I just could never get that row. Theme Park Tycoon Teacher, what coaster should be your priority at Hershey Park? Candymonium and the Intamins are the ones I recommend most there. T Express, least favorite SLC, Blue Tornado, Hard Restraints, and a Rough Ride. Good usernames overrated. I'll go Candemonium over Nitro. Coaster Team 2012, favorite coaster in 2022. I'm assuming you mean a new coaster. If that's the case, I'll go with Iron Gwazi. Quacken's Coaster Channel. I do not like Whataburger. Thunderwolf, favorite train ride at a park. The ones at the Busch Gardens parks are pretty good. Skyguard 12 Turn. McDonald's is good fries, but I don't like their other food. Um, Theme Park Tycoon. I have been to American Dream Mall. Unfortunately, Nickelodeon Universe has a lot of ride closures. Honestly, I like the DreamWorks water park best there. Skate Alex 2. I love Knobles. Uh, Matthew Cornell. Does Splash Mountain have the best airtime of any Disney ride? No, Space Mountain does. Skyguard 12 Turn. Thoughts on Wonderland and Amarillo. I have a whole review in that park, but it's a very quirky park. It's a very interesting ride lineup, and I actually like their rides. Jake the Snake. Yeah, sorry. Egenica is my favorite SNS. So, like I said, sometimes I forget things when I just rattle off my favorites on the top, on the fly like this. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite SNS. Coaster Team 2012. Oh, of course, I love amusement parks. Goki, least favorite B&M Hyper that's 200 plus feet tall. Which I'm trying to think which one would be up there because I like Intimidator. Yeah, like I said, I'm really bad just naming some of that stuff off the top of my head. Um, it might be Apollo's Chariot now. I know it technically the lift is below 200 feet, but the drop's bigger than that. Theme Park Tycoon Teacher. I prefer Orion to Leviathan. That guy, Calico Mine Ride. It's a charming ride considering it's old, and I like how they do the Halloween overlay. Goki. I like Five Guys, but their fries make me sick. They're too greasy. End Seeker. I was not the first rider for anything. Good usernames overrated. I do like Chick-fil-A. Skate Alex too. The Justice League Dark rides are pretty good. They're a nice change of pace for that park. Coaster Team 2012, favorite coaster enthusiast in the community. Neil Patrick Harris is an amazing actor, so I'll maybe cheat and say him. RK, what coaster do you think is the best ejector airtime overall? Hard to argue with Steel Vengeance in terms of quantity and quality. Skyguard 12 Turn, biggest trip you've had for parks in your life. Probably going to Japan for 3 weeks. Thunderwolf, do you collect any merch from parks? Oh, absolutely. I have all sorts of shirts, and I especially like when you have like models of things. So, just a note, my laptop is dying, so I'm probably going to start cutting off the questions. So, try to get your last questions in the next like 30 seconds. I'll try to get through them. But yeah, I probably am not going to go too much longer. So, like I said, get your last questions in. I'll try to get to them. I think that'll probably be it. Skate Alex 2, do you think Disney parks are getting worse under Bob Chapek? So I didn't have any problem when I visited the parks last year. Yes, it was different with lightning lanes, but I think $15 is fair to skip the lines. Good usernames overrated. Jankiest ride you've been on. Like I said, sorry, I'm really bad at coming up with some of the stuff off the top of my head. Ice Mountain bobsleds at Enchant and Oregon's pretty crazy, so I might come up with that one. Landon Camper, favorite Eurofighter Infinity Coaster. Schwertes Karnan, that ride's absolutely nuts. Theme Park Tycoon Teacher, what's Behemoth comparable to? A lot of the other, B&M hypers. Goki, favorite SNS excluding the 4Ds. I would go with Max Force. Skyguard 12 Turn, yep, I'd like to have kids in the future. Zero G Coaster, Storm Runner or Fahrenheit. Biggs Lil, glad you like Lost Island. Sustained Floater Coasters. Do you think the Parquet Warner Intamin Blitz will be better than the Tutatis? Depends what the layout is, but both rides look amazing. Good usernames overrated. I have an entire video ranking the Gigas. Jake the Snake. What park is the best top 4 coasters in the world? It might be Hershey Park after that RMC opens. Good usernames overrated. Thank you for the super chat. Donating to one of my favorite coaster YouTubers. Keep up the great content. Yeah, like I said, I like making it, and I'm glad you guys enjoy it. T Express. A might show amusement machines in the US be a rare and unique credit for sure. Oh yeah, definitely. James Mason, thank you for the kind words. Hello, Millennium Force Man. Fortunately, I'm going to be wrapping this up pretty shortly. Scotty Mullen, of all your videos, which is your personal favorite? I probably like the Tagada video I have, just seeing the crazy things people did on it. Kaz, favorite roller coaster YouTuber? I like countdowns and reviews, so I more gravitate towards if I'm looking for a specific park or something. Logan Powell, does Silver Comet's first drop give ejector for you? So I haven't been on that ride in over a decade. I don't remember the first drop giving ejector, but I'd like to get back on it. Mark Lindsay, would you ride El Toro with just buzz bars? Assuming there are seatbelts, yes. Quacken's Coaster Channel. Next time you're in the area, give Brahms a chance. So I think next time I'm in the area, Emily is going to want to just have it go to Lambert's every single time. So not quite sure if we'll get to Brahms. Audie Rogers, fiance's favorite roller coaster and theme park. So her favorite is Disneyland as well. And I think her favorite coaster might actually be Lightning Rod as well, though she also loves Velocicoaster a ton. I haven't been Coaster Team 2012. I haven't been on Dr. Diabolical, but I can't see it topping Velocicoaster. Good usernames array of what coaster is one element that makes the ride. Jackrabbit at Kennywood with the double down. That guy, thoughts on Montezuma losing the flywheel. If it preserves the ride, it's better than losing it. Thunderwolf, favorite piece of merch. I really like some of the models I've gotten at the parks. Like the Merlin parks have these like these nice resins you can buy. James Mason, next coaster adventures. I want to get to some of the parks I haven't been to in Pennsylvania and New York in a few years again. Taffy, when will you come back to Knott's? Maybe this winter, if not next year. Airbus 737, favorite B&M Hyper, excluding the Gigas, Shambhala. Goki, most average Six Flags park you've been to. So maybe Six Flags New England. That's a little tricky question for me to answer, just because all the parks do some of their good and bad stuff. Skate Alex, favorite water ride, Splash Mountain. Zero G Coasters, thoughts on Wild Eagle. I like the drop, and it has a weird layout for a wing coaster, but I do like the ride. Sky Garrett 12 turn. Yeah, feel free to use that. I'm not really protective about any of my content or anything like that. And Seeker. Yeah, I like water parks as well as amusement parks. Tend to prefer amusement parks, but I like to try to, get on all that stuff. Matthew Cornhall. Yeah, the Piraten review should be coming out soon. Imperial Coaster. Do you think Bell's amusement park will become successful? I really hope it does. I'm not too familiar with why the original one closed. So that was the last question that got in. So, like I said, I'm happy to interact with you guys. I like to try to do these every 1,000 subscribers. It's just been a little tricky over the summer with the frisbee season going on. Like this is later than I usually have the live streams, but I'll definitely try to have them every 1,000 subscribers or so, just because if you take the time to watch my videos, I want to have a chance to interact with you guys. But thanks again for joining. I'm glad I could answer the questions, and I hope all you have a good day and enjoy the rest of the summer. Have a good night. Bye.